All right, so this is my favorite part of this presentation where I get into the meat of it and best practices for content creation with tools like AI Copilot. So I'm going to start here. I am going to use our tool since I know the capabilities and I also know that it is trained in real time with all of the modern data, and it's going to give much more accurate answers. So I have a bunch of different use cases I'm going to go through. Bear with me a little bit here. I am going to be cutting and pasting some copy that I prepared previously for each of the use cases, and I'll kind of give you an explanation for each one. I'm going to try to keep the prompts that I am writing more simplified here, but I have kind of shown you already what some more complex things look like. And at the end of this, I have a couple of use cases that are going to be a little more complex. So the reality here is to get the best outputs, you can't do first grade questions. You need to give it some context, use it as an assistant. The way I think of AI for my personal usage is I'm able to do things now that I would have had to have hired countless people, whether that be copywriters, whether that be researchers, people helping to write webinars, PowerPoints, you name it. I can now do those in a much faster time period than I could have before. And more importantly, my output and my brain power is much higher. So you're going to be able to service more clients quicker and provide better outputs. That is the whole goal here. So number one, best practices, be specific. The more detailed your prompt, the more accurate and useful the AI's response will be. Use keywords, so incorporate relevant keywords into your prompts to guide the AI towards the desired content focus, okay? Define the tone. Do you want it to be humorous? Do you want it to be trustworthy, educational, informative, casual? You want to ensure that that matches your practice's brand and your writing style. You want to request examples when appropriate. Use the AI to include, either examples, case studies, real data to illustrate your points. And then we also like to make sure that you clarify who the audience is, right? So who is the intended audience? Is it small business owners? Is it high net worth individuals? Is it gig workers? Because you're going to use different language there. So let's start here with my first use case, which will be writing engagement letters. So my use case is we want to be able to automate the creation of personalized engagement letters for different services. We have trained AI Copilot with various different engagement letters to give it a kind of a good basis, but let's start here. So use case number one, write an engagement letter. So generate an engagement letter for new client requiring tax preparation services, include confidentiality clauses and a summary of the scope of work. If you had put in your personalization information or the client's name, it would personalize all this, so that even saves you more time. I don't want to do that for the purposes of this demonstration. But AI Copilot will quickly go through what is your prompt request and then start doing your output. Here it's creating an actual client letter. The subject, what is it, the engagement letter for tax preparation? What is the scope of work? What is the documentation deadlines? What is my confidentiality clause? You can make this broader, longer, shorter, your idea, it's up to you and when you scope these. But you basically now have created an engagement letter on the fly. And what I like about it is if you use a tool like CountingWorks Pro and our e-sign, you can actually literally cut and paste and create an e-sign for this engagement letter in moments, right? And then instead of going through different templates, try to personalize them, there's a lot of work involved. You're able to get to an output very quickly. So that's use case number one. I'm going to move on now to tax research. I think that is a pretty common use case, one of the most powerful points that AI Copilot can handle now. And when I say we train AI Copilot in real time, well, that's basically our entire community of other tax professionals that are in TaxBuzz.com are using the tool to write articles, share their expertise. That information is put into our knowledge base. In addition, our entire suite of our big book of taxes, the IRS publications, state tax code, you name it, we have loaded and trained our model on. So it makes it much more accurate than you will see in a generic chatbot or some tool that is years behind, right? So that's the big problem. If you're using as a tax pro, you got to trust the results. One thing I wanted to show you too, we have an assurance check request inside AI Copilot where a human will actually verify the response. So the next one is I'm going to do, again, super simple tax research, provide a summary of the latest tax laws related to home office inductions for self-employed individuals in California. We'll go ahead and start the prompt. AI Copilot is going to go through and start putting this together. Since we have no new changes yet in 2024, this is where we are going to start with the home office deduction. So it's going to go under the federal tax law, then into the California state tax law. Obviously, California is conforming since 2015, and then some key considerations: documentation, state-specific deductions and credits, and then, of course, hey, consult a professional. And this is a summary of that particular ask. So you could have asked it, do some research on a tax court case. We do allow you to upload PDF files. I'm not going to do that here. And also you can analyze a URL. So the URL would be perfect if you're doing tax research and you wanted it to summarize a tax court case. Go find that website link on the internet, cut and paste it here and say, hey, could you summarize this particular URL? So there's use case number 2. I'm going to go now to client email drafting. So what is the use case? Craft personalized emails to clients for updates, reminders, or advice. So think about it in real time. You're at your desk, your client hub, or your email, and you're getting inbound inquiries from clients. One of the biggest issues we see are clients that procrastinate on these type of tasks, and they don't quickly answer questions, and then things are missed or they load up. So what's nice about AI Copilot is you literally can ask it to draft a letter or response, or let's say you could cut and paste that inbound email or request from that client. It will analyze it and put together a nice response for you, writing it very quickly. Again, the idea is this is getting you 95% of the way. Sometimes you can use things perfectly out of the box. Here I asked for a reminder of upcoming tax filing deadlines and requests for necessary documents. Do you have a date that you want everything in? I didn't give it more specific things, but I'm just giving you an example. What are the required documents? How do they supply the documents? What are the next steps? If you would put in your firm information and the client information, this would all been personalized as well. But here's just another nice use case. Again, if you save 15 to 30 minutes on doing any of the research on these client requests, and think of someone had asked, let's say, about a 529 plan and what they should do, this will now be able to articulate a response very quickly. So there's another use case. I'm going to go on now to newsletter content creation. Obviously, client newsletters are and blogs are some of the best ways for you to stay top of mind with your client base. Utilizing a tool like AI Copilot can save you countless hours in research, writing if you're not the greatest copywriter. If you give it a lot of prompts, this is a very basic one. Normally I would say, make the tone educational, trustworthy, but I just want to give some basic prompts just to see how AI Copilot responds. So here's our next use case: write in a blog article where we ask for a 500-word article. And what do we ask? The benefits of early tax planning, tips on deductible expenses, make the article educational, include a CTA to get help. So here's the article: benefits early tax planning for the upcoming fiscal year, why early tax planning matters. It goes through 4 different items. Tips on deductible expenses gives you a bunch of bullet points, and then a nice call to action to get help. So here's just another way to get you, 95% of the way there. Perhaps this article is good to go as is, but here's another use case using a tool like AI Copilot. So let's move on to social media posts. Our use cases: create engaging and informative social media posts to enhance your online presence. And I usually like to use this where I tell it exactly, I'm writing it for Twitter or X as we call it today, or this is for Instagram or LinkedIn, for example. We're going to give it a broad one. We could give this a very focused one, but let's call it tax saving tips for Tuesday, focusing on different strategies for the month. And we'll ask AI Copilot to go ahead and start this, and it will give us each week and some different ideas. So this week, tax saving tips Tuesday. Week 1, maximize retirement contributions. Week 2, HSAs. Week 3, charitable contributions. Now think about this in your day-to-day life. I mean, how long do you work on putting these together now? Just even coming up with the different ideas, right? So I just asked it to do a very basic one, but you could do this. You could have asked it for a year's worth. And you can make it focused on a specific vertical or niche, for example. Let's say I'm concentrating on writing social posts for restaurant owners, and it would target all of that. So it's just another really nice way to improve your marketing and increase your social media success as well. So now let's move on to our next use case, which is proposal writing. So, the use case is crafting detailed proposals for potential clients, outlining services, benefits, and pricing. So again, I'm giving it simple prompts. As I've told you in this webinar, the more context you give it, the more variables, the better the outcomes usually. I like to freeform these, and once you get used to it, you don't have to worry about following a template, even though we provide you some templates. But here you go: proposal for comprehensive tax and accounting services. At our firm, if I had put our firm name in here, it would have included it. What are our suite of services? What is the ROI of our services? So doing, what do we do? What is the pain point and the benefits of using us? Why, would these services matter? Scalability as you grow. Here's some case studies of things that we've done. And what are the different packages that we offer, right? So, and then from there, hey, okay, you're ready to go. What is the next step? Ask for the business. And then kind of a benefit call to action at the end. So again, another super easy way. If you're using CountyWorks Pro's platform, we have a proposal tool that you can now take this content and create a one-to-one proposal, or you can have templates of proposals that you use for different clients and send them out via our tool and actually collect payment up front. And then you can sequence then a proposal that goes into an engagement letter that a client can e-sign. And then it could even put together an intake form. So it's really powerful. So I'm going to go now to market analysis reports. So analyzing market trends and generating reports for internal strategy for client advisory work. This one is better suited, and I have some examples in a little bit where you can upload your actual client's financials. We do not train with AI Co-Pilot. Any documents that are added in the tool as a user, this is only in your ecosystem, and we actually purge this data. It is used through that thread, but that's it. It is not trained on. It is not put into our knowledge base. It is completely private, just like your other documents would be. But this one, I'm just going to, instead of analyzing an actual client, I'm just going to say, analyze the current trends in the accounting industry and predict how digital transformations will impact tax practices in the next 5 years. Now, I want you to think about this. You could do the same type of an analysis for a dental firm, for your gig workers, whatever. So it's making you basically create some pretty sophisticated outputs and reports for your clients. And let's just see what it thinks about the accounting industry. What's happening? What are the current trends? Hopefully you're jumping on these trends. Obviously, cloud computing is kind of old news now, right, for most of you. Automation and AI, I think, is the great current wave that we're seeing. Data analytics, I feel this is a huge tool. We're utilizing it in our client hub. We're starting to collect data when you enable it, that any documents that are uploaded, now we can analyze that data and then do proactive planning suggestions. It's going to be awesome. Obviously, cybersecurity, identity theft is a huge deal. And then regulatory compliance. With the politics of today, there's a lot of things that need to be analyzed and looked at. And that's going to be crucial for the future. Predictions for the next 5 years. Adoption of blockchain technology. There's a couple articles of BlackRock and what they are doing with some of this technology. Personalized client services. I think this is a huge area of opportunity. We have done some tutorials on how to utilize AI Co-Pilot, for example, to write one-to-one tax plans, personalized per client, and even include a proposal letter that you outlined what you would do for that particular client based on their variables as the first sales tool. So how do you take a client from a tax prep to a tax planning client, right? A shift towards advisory services, collaborative platforms. Obviously, you're already seeing that. Continuous learning and adaptation. I think this is pretty spot on, but another use case. So let's move on now to client onboarding documents. So what do we mean by that? You can use tools like AI Co-Pilot to create custom intake forms. custom instructions, or even just a process for your client base. So you might have one for accounting clients, a different one for virtual CFO. So how do we create personalized onboarding documents for new clients to streamline the process? I'm going to ask it to, and again, this is simple, generate a welcome packet for new clients that outlines the onboarding process, what documents are needed, and FAQs. If I put in here a welcome packet for my restaurant clients, it would personalize it specifically to that vertical, which would be even more useful, right? So you could make sure that you're getting the most accurate information that you need. So here's a new output for AI Co-Pilot, welcome packet for new clients. If I had, again, personalized it, it would have included that. So this is just a recommendation of how this would look. You can obviously change this up in any way. But here's an onboarding process client. This is what you should expect. Initial setup, engagement letter, secure document transfer, data review and planning, ongoing communication. What are the documents that I need? I need some identification, tax documents, business documents, and then some FAQs. So this is a really big time saver for you, right? And you can, I think, become better organized and create processes in place that are going to make you much more efficient. So another great use case. We're going to move on to compliance checklists. So what is the use case? It's developing checklists for various compliance requirements to ensure clients meet all of their legal obligations. So I'm going to do another prompt here. This one's going to be for a comprehensive compliance checklist for nonprofits in the United States. I'm going to go ahead and ask AI Co-Pilot to analyze this. Again, what I love about our tool is just how fast it is, and then more importantly, how accurate it is. So here we go for nonprofit organization, United States, verified tax exempt status, annual tax filings. This has different checkboxes, so confirm your tax exempt status, right? Form 990s, determine the correct form to file, unrelated business income, tax-specific requirements, record keepings, donor acknowledgement, conflict of interest policies, public disclosure. So it's pretty detailed here on what it's going to cover as far as putting this together. So again, a nice use case, probably not used as much, but it's something that you can utilize in your practice. So now I'm going to get into a couple of these that are going to be a little more detailed. I have one more on educational material for clients, and then I'm going to get into writing a tax plan. So you definitely want to stay for this. So the next use case, I want to create educational material for my clients. So what does that mean? Produce educational content to help clients understand complex tax and accounting issues. I'll do a prompt here on the latest tax reform, on business, and then any actionable steps to take advantage of the new tax benefits. So this will now go through and it's going to create a guide, and it's going to talk about different changes that happen to small businesses. You can do it for specific years, and obviously this changes, but it's going to go through different, the corporate tax rate changes, the pass-through entities, depreciation, elimination of certain deductions. There's a lot of things that are in right now that are going to obviously sunset. So as we train things and get it to understand the latest actual changes in sunsetting, I think it will start incorporating that as well. But it's just a great way to utilize a quick way to put together some educational material. All right, so this is where the fun stuff starts. Now let's start working on creating a custom tax plan for a high-end earner. What's the use case here? We want to create a customized tax plan for clients based on their financial data, goals, and changes in tax legislation. I would basically collect, there's two ways to do this. You could upload their tax return. Again, we don't store that data, but you could use that as a starting off point for some of the variables to be entered. But I put together kind of a sample client, and I basically said, they're high-end earners. How old are they? What are their jobs? What are their names? Do they have children? Things like that. I put a lot of different variables here. And then on my prompt, let's say here we want a long form tax plan. Please include details for each section. Make it long and comprehensive. And we always have, it's live, so we always have one typo. All right, so let's give it a little more details and let's see what we can come up with. And we'll go ahead and get AI Co-Pilot working for us. And let's see if it does do. So it starts in on income tax planning. So it's giving us some maximizing deductions and credits. It's talking about income shifting and deferral. It's talking about investment growth. It's talking about retirement planning, estate planning, life insurance. So this is getting into a lot of things, right? So let's look at the college savings as a little thing on 529 plans. What I think I'm going to do is let's ask it when it's done here to give us more information on that. So here's a first look, but let's say we wanted more information, more detail on, please. And now you can take, again, this is just starting point one, trying to teach you how to have a conversation with the AI Copilot. That's a good way to look at it. But it does, again, it's personalizing everything with the Hamilton family. It's going into much more details here, state tax benefits, state planning, front-loading contributions. So a bunch of different details. So again, I'm hoping this is giving you a really good insight on how to utilize the tool from a beginning of writing a prompt and then taking it to more detail like I just did. Again, everything should be proofed. You should look at everything, make sure all the details are there. But this is just another way to get some really nice outputs to get you really close to having some nice reports for clients. All right, so the next use case is analyzing financial statements and providing a financial report. There's a lot of different ways to go with this. I think we're going to do the Tesla Q1 2024 document. Is big, 7.1 megabytes. So this might take a little while to analyze. But the idea here is that you can utilize your client's income statements, budgets, whatever you want to do, give it some good prompts, and AI is going to be able to go in here and analyze this and provide some general information for you to share with your client, giving them some good feedback, some analytical data. This does take a little bit longer since we are feeding, again, a 7 megabyte file. I'm sure the Tesla's update is quite long, but we asked it, what is the financial health? What is the net income? What does it say here? Notable peak in Q4 2023 before a decrease in Q1 2024. So it's nailing this. What is the free cash flow? Drop 2.531, indicating potential liquidity concern. I don't think they're quite there, but you get a general idea. It's showing areas of concern, volatility of net income, decreased adjusted EBITDA, so different recommendations. I wonder if Elon has just been following that. Enhance cost management, improve cash management, diversify revenue streams. They have come out with their self-driving car and their robots, so there's some big things. Maybe Elon was analyzing his business through AI Copilot. But anyways, this is just another use case trying to show you how it works. Again, if you're using a tool like AI Copilot, we do not train on your client's data. This is for your use case only, your eyes only. So let's get into, and then I just wanted a couple of best practices on this. Again, clarity and detail, provide clear, detailed descriptions of the financial statements and any specific areas of concern for interest or analysis. If you had some KPIs that you have for an industry, you could compare those financials to those KPIs. What is the clarity and detail? Provide clear and detailed descriptions. What is your objective? I want to request unbiased analysis that considers all aspects of the financial health of the business. And then we want actionable items. So ensure recommendations are practical, actionable, and tailored to the business size, industry, and specific circumstances. But that is most of them. I wanted to finish my prompt review here on just something fun. So let's play a game of the tax code trivia challenge. Provide 5 intriguing trivia answers or questions and then answers. Make sure the questions vary from easy to hard. So let's just play it out. And it is conversation. Think of it again as AI Copilot is your assistant. And it's not just one assistant, it's like having an army of assistants. So it's wonderful. But I was sitting here, and the reason I did this one is I thought it'd be kind of fun. But it also is something if you wanted to do some trivia on social media, trivia on your website with clients, making things interesting. You could do a trivia contest, right? You could make some forms, some intake. Here's the easy one. What year the tax code first introduced? 1913. With medium size, medium hard, hard, and then very hard. So it's a lot of fun. I just trying to play around. But this is kind of the overview of the different prompts and samples. Again, I'm using AI Copilot as our demonstrator. This was all done in real time in one sequence, so you can see how powerful the tool is and how quick it is. So I hope you can appreciate what it can do for you and your practice. While AI can provide preliminary analysis and generate reports, it's important that humans come in and do the human oversight, right? Specifically when you have strategic implications of tax and financial decisions and compliance with relevant tax and accounting standards and regulations. So these use cases demonstrate the potential of tools, artificial intelligence tools, and they really can show you how you can significantly enhance the value of your practice to your clients, right? From strategic tax planning to in-depth financial analysis and advisory services to literally getting more output per partner, per staff member. If you got your entire team using a tool like AI Copilot, you can see really the benefits. But we'll continue on with the rest of this webinar and presentation and answer any questions you have at the end.